Herbert W. Armstrong College graduates walked the stage of Armstrong Auditorium on May 12th. College President and Dean of Students Gerald Flurry gave the invocation and introduced Student Body President Reniel Padua, who delivered an address focusing on thankfulness and family.
Mr. Chancellor, our faculty, honored guests, and fellow students, a wonderful good evening. And of course, welcome to the 2013 Armstrong College graduation. Now, Armstrong College is a truly unique institution. It's a liberal arts college, yes. Here in this college, we learn social sciences, we learn natural sciences, mathematics, we learn physical education, and of course, music and theology. But of all the things that I've learned in this college, nothing would exceed one fundamental truth that is key to understanding everything that I've learned here in Armstrong College. And it's all encapsulated in our college motto: Herbert W. Armstrong College, education with vision. Today, I'd like to show you how our education today, here in this college, revolves around a family vision. One family, one vision.
Following the student address, the Armstrong College Choral Union performed two pieces, May the Road Rise to Meet You, and a song from the college's upcoming musical about King David, We Are the Pillars.
May the road rise to meet you, may the wind be ever at your back, may the sun shine warm upon your face, may the rain fall softly on your cheeks, and until we meet again,
The commencement address was delivered by Herbert W. Armstrong College's chancellor, Gerald Flurry.
Thank you so much. The French historian Tocqueville wrote about the early American history, and he said that the Democratic historians were going to have a harder time writing history than the aristocratic minorities, because there were so few of them that ruled, and it was a different history, and it would be a different outcome. He said our Democratic historians were going to be focusing more on the great general movements, social ideas, rather than focusing on individuals with certain motives and ideas and purposes. And he said it's going to be, they're not going to be focusing on outstanding individuals. And that's going to be a problem with our historians. Now that's just a painfully obvious prophecy that was fulfilled, and certainly should alarm us. And when you think about history today and how they've written it and how we've educated our people, you know that we haven't built the leadership that we should. And I think a big part of the reason is the way they've written history. It's not written right, it's not written the way it should be, and it's not the kind of history that's going to develop real leaders in our people. But here he was talking about there'll be maybe just one person who is a significant person that is qualified to lead and really does rise up and change the course of history. And he said they won't give really the accounting to that facet of history the way they should. And of course, that person would have to have the courage to communicate his message. Not always an easy thing to do. George Will wrote something very similar to that in 2001, and he's a syndicated columnist that most of us have probably read at one time or the other. But he said when history is taught at all nowadays, often it is taught as the unfolding of inevitabilities. It's just all inevitable. You can't do anything about it. Of vast impersonal forces. Students are inoculated against the undemocratic, quote unquote, notion that history can be turned in its course by great individuals. It can be turned in its course by great individuals. And he implied that George Washington was such a great leader that if it hadn't been for him, there's a very good chance that the Revolutionary War would not have been won by America. So we see that students are inoculated in that notion today in our universities and in our colleges that, well, you have these general movements, these hefty, lofty movements that are determining everything, so there really isn't much that anybody can do, especially one person. Now that's certainly untrue, but most people today believe it, and most of the intelligentsia believe it and teach it. In a 1999 survey of college seniors at 55 elite colleges, 78% didn't have to take even one history course. And some universities will even have, there's some, well, at least some, that will have people, or say that people don't even have to take a course in American history, even if they're majoring in history. Now, when you look at that closely and examine it, you can begin to see why we're not developing leaders today. We're not looking at the great leaders of the past and trying to learn from them. As Napoleon said, well, look, if you want to be a great general, and he was one of the greatest ever, he said, just study the great generals of history. He said, that's what I've done, and that's how I became as successful as I have in warfare. So this is a grave danger, really, that we're talking about in the way students are educated today, but we don't educate our students here that way. We don't teach it that way at all. Now, I think one serious mistake that maybe Tocqueville and George will make is they give too much credit to the one person, because obviously one person by himself or herself couldn't do very much of anything. They do have to have supporters, and then those supporters and that leader can really have an impact on history and change the course of history. And that's what we're all about. And so I want to talk to you about, you students in particular, how you can change the course of history. Because that is, after all, a goal that we have and have to keep deepening as we journey in life.
Students walking the stage hailed from Canada, England, the Philippines, the United States of America, and Zimbabwe. Along with 13 sophomores, 11 seniors received their 4-year diplomas from the chancellor.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join with the Armstrong College faculty and administration in saluting our future, the senior class of 2013.